Okay, you all come in, hit the like, hit the share button. Uh, just want to cover some things real quick. Um, I'm sorry, I'm reading some things on my screen. I'm reading some things, but I was listening to Myron Golden today. Myron Golden teach on Fasttrack Millionaire Secrets. And Myron Golden, if you're not familiar with him, he comes from a biblical perspective, much like I do to study the economy, and he breaks down biblical numbers and their meanings, much like I do in studying the economy. So with Bitcoin hitting 25K today, I definitely wanted to do a live stream. It broke that resistance of that 25,000 resistance that was waiting to be broken. So it broke through today. I personally had predicted that Bitcoin by the end of February, which would give me until next Tuesday, will be at 30K or close to 30K. Now, I don't personally promote for people or um, tell people if you are just now getting into crypto to get into Bitcoin. And this is why, because at 25K, which it is now, your return on your investment is because most people, let's be honest, even though Bitcoin is deemed a commodity and not a security is anything that you invest in, like the stock market, for profits, right? But most people invest in BTC to just cash out. So it is used like a security more often than a commodity. But what has deemed Bitcoin a commodity is its ability, the ability of Bitcoin to be used and leveraged to purchase other cryptocurrencies that are um, like or alike it, right? A commodity, most people, when they think of commodity, they think of things that come from the ground, like agriculture, gold, silver, diamonds, pearl, the things of that value that only the God, right, created. But when you look at a commodity in the cryptocurrency world, that's based upon, that means that it has no common issuer, right? Um, it's fungible. Anyone can get it. And so Bitcoin is a property that's a globally accepted crypto. It cannot be manipulated, it cannot be stolen, it cannot be seized, right? Just like gold, for example, is a global commodity that's accepted as a global form of payment, such as Bitcoin, but in the digital world, in that realm, in that aspect, right? And so, decentralized when it comes to Bitcoin means that anyone can download software, anyone can have access to it, even in third world countries or the poorest of states, like Mississippi, for example, and they can mine it. So, just like gold, oil, and wheat is everywhere in the world, Bitcoin is Bitcoin everywhere in the world. And the prices move when it comes to Bitcoin, just like tangible commodities, based on the prices move between the supply and demand, right? And so this is just XFX is up today 63%. This is just a look of what's going on in the day. Again, Bitcoin has crossed, as of this live stream, the 25K. But you all come in again and hit the like and share button so we get more people in here. And so, biblical numbers, I'm going to break down biblical numbers starting with Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. You may ask me, why, Queen? Why do you want to break down the numbers starting with Genesis chapter 1? Because the numbers in the Bible are a great predictor of wealth, the wealth transfer, in my opinion. So we see Bitcoin is taking a little dip. It was at 25. Um, it's what, $54 off of that right now. So at 24, as according to this 24,000. And again, for some people, they don't have 24,000 to accumulate one BTC, one Bitcoin. And so their return on investment, right, from putting thousands in, maybe 4 to 6%. So this is why I'm teaching what I'm teaching on right now and tonight, so that you can get more of growth from your purchases, your cash, converting your cash into crypto, and for projects that also offer you passive income, that you can get perpetual passive income at the same time of getting these perpetual passive income. You also can get a lifetime flow of perpetual passive income through cryptocurrency, and that are connected to, that are linked to, that are backed by commodities. I believe in God's wealth, God's way. So or this wealth transfer is combining old money with new money. And so we're going to break down the biblical secrets, and we're going to start all with Genesis 1, because a lot of people think that Genesis 1 is just a creation story, right? I think Genesis 1 is a creation story. But after you watch this live stream, I think you're going to change your mindset about that. Not, and if you don't, you have the right to just think of it um, as a creation story. But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. And again, you all come in and hit that thumbs up. There are so many people that read the Bible in a form of mysteries and mysterious, and they don't read the Bible, or they don't interpret the Bible in a very practical way, right? And so, because they don't understand these numbers and how they are communicated throughout the Bible, for example, like the wall of Jericho, right? It was a reason on the last day that they had to march around the wall of Jericho exactly 7 times. It's a reason why God told Noah that the rainbow, which has 7 colors, right, would be a representation of a symbol, right, a symbolism that he would never again use a flood to destroy the earth. It's a reason why God rested on the seventh day. And many people means that word rest translates into finish. No, that word rest, if you study it from its original forms, the Bible, in Hebrew and Greek definition, right? It means to bankrupt, to reset, to then have a transition. So the number 7 is all about a transition, that's coming, right? So let's break down. This is Myron Golden again. Come in, come in, come in. Hit that like and share button. And Myron Goldman talks very fast. And in fact, he admits, did I say that too fast? He said it just that way. He's probably a little faster than me. So I don't know if he just missing, said the numbers, which I doubt, because he's Myron Goldman. He's very intelligent, but this is his Fasttrack Millionaire. But there are some things that um, I think are differently between the numbers 1 and 2, in which he mentions in his video, and why I'm going to break down to you why it even matters, right? So let's listen in.
couple of us unusual people did. Anyway, I wonder that. But do you know why? Because gold is a type of eternity. What does that even mean? Well, that wealth is good. Why do I believe that wealth is good? So here's how. I believe that here's why I believe that wealth is good. I believe that wealth is good first and foremost because the first time gold, which represents wealth all around the world, has since the beginning of time. Gold, the first time it's mentioned in the Bible, God said it was good. So, and God doesn't change. And when you're studying the Bible, there's a concept. There are some principles that you want to apply. And some of you are wondering, why is he talking about the Bible? Because I teach business and wealth creation from a biblical perspective. That's why I'm talking about the Bible, because that is the foundation of my understanding. Okay, so in case some of you are new to my channel, right? So I believe that wealth is inherently good, and gold has represented wealth since the beginning of time. And like when I was a kid, I am the most curious, ridiculously curious human being maybe you will ever have the privilege or not so much of meeting, right? And so what does that mean? When I was a kid, I wondered, well, gold is gold and brass is gold and copper is gold in color. So why is gold worth more than brass and worth more than copper? Did anybody else ever wonder that? Yeah, okay, good. A couple of us are unusual people. couple couple of us unusual people did. Anyway, I wonder that. But do you know why? Because gold is a type of eternity. What does that even mean? Well, copper and brass both corrode, but gold does not corrode. So it's a type of agelessness and eternity and infinity. So the thing that makes it wealth, the thing that makes it a, represent abundance and wealth is the fact that it does not corrode, which is a type of eternity. It's like no wonder God told the children of Israel when they built the tabernacle to overlay things in gold, because it was representative of eternity, right? Um, all numbers have significance, and that in itself is significant. Like one is the number of unity, the unity of God. Two is the number of separation or holiness, because of the holiness of God. Three is the number of God. Let us make man in our image, not let me make man in my image. Three is the number of God. And even though God is one, he expresses himself in three. I'm one person, but I'm a body, soul, and spirit. But that doesn't make me three different people. It just makes me one person with three different aspects. Are y'all tracking? And so three is the number of God. Four is the number of the earth. There are four directions on the earth: north, south, east, and west. There are four seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. There are four levels of value on the earth. The lowest level being implementation, the next to the lowest level being unification, the next to the highest level is communication, the highest level is imagination. There's four levels of value on the earth. There are four levels of parenting for four levels of child development. There are four levels of teaching for four levels of learning. Four is the number of the earth. We talk, the earth is round, but we talk about the four corners of the earth. We've all heard of the four winds of the earth. Four is the number of the earth. That's why I kind of got ooh when the 444 came up. I was thinking about the earth. Anyway, five is the number of grace. We have five fingers on our hand with which to give a gift. We have five fingers on our hand with which to receive a gift. Five is the number of grace. Six is the number of man. Man was created on the sixth day. It's also the number of falsehood. Probably it's 600 is actually the number of falsehood, but 6 plus 0 plus 0 is 6. So 6 is the number of man, but it's also the number of falsehood, probably because man believes Satan's falsehood. 7 is the number of completion, maturity, being finished. God rested on the seventh day. 8 is the number of infinity, eternity, abundance, and the new beginning. So that's the number 8. 8's the number of abundance. Okay, why is that important? Well, because the substance that represents wealth and has since the beginning of time is mentioned in the first book in the Bible exactly 8 times. Isn't that amazing? Like God's attention to detail is very godlike. Right? So wrap your mind around that. Okay. So when we're studying the Bible, we want to make sure we apply some principles to make sure we don't make up something and think that the Bible says it because I conjured it up in my dome, right? So that's why I'm talking about the Bible, because that is the foundation of my understanding. Okay, so in case some of you are new to my channel, right? So I believe that wealth is inherently good, and gold has represented wealth since the beginning of time. And like when I was a kid, I am the most curious, ridiculously curious human being maybe you will ever have the privilege or not so much of meeting, right? And so what does that mean? When I was a kid, I wondered, well, gold is gold and brass is gold and copper is gold in color. So why is gold worth more than brass and worth more than copper? Did anybody else ever wonder that? Yeah, okay, good. A couple of us are unusual people. couple, couple of us unusual people did. Anyway, I wonder that. But do you know why? Because gold is a type of eternity. What does that even mean? Well, copper and brass both corrode, but gold does not corrode. So it's a type of agelessness and eternity and infinity. So the thing that makes it wealth, the thing that makes it represent abundance and wealth is the fact that it does not corrode, which is a type of eternity. It's like no wonder God told the children of Israel when they built the tabernacle to overlay things in gold, because it was representative of eternity, right? All numbers have significance, and And that in itself is significant. Like 1 is the number of unity, the unity of God. 2 is the number of separation or holiness.
So I replayed that, but I'm going to restate what he said. 1 is the number of unity, the unity of God. 2 is the number of separation. He believes that 7 is the number of completeness, finality, finish. Those numbers 1, 2, and 7, I don't really agree with him on that. But however, I'm going to break down why. But we have the same biblical principles, in fact, are from the concept that we teach. Biblical prosperity, we reveal what real wealth is, and we're able to predict what the future of money will look like, which is, in my opinion, is cryptocurrency. And so knowing these secrets, knowing how to be a fast track millionaire, why would you want to get rich slow? Your number one commodity, as we talk about the commodities of gold, brass, and copper, but your number one commodity is your time, right? So why would you want to get rich slow? You will want to get rich as fast, as soon as possible, but in a very sound way. So I'm going to break down Genesis 1, the biblical meanings from my interpretation. Everyone can read the Bible and have a different interpretation of the Bible themselves, but this is my interpretation that reveals, because I feel like if you don't understand Genesis chapter 1, then you won't understand the entirety of the Bible. In fact, Jesus said that I speak in parables. And if you don't understand this parable, you won't understand the rest of the parable. And I submit to you that Genesis chapter 1 is not a creation story. So let's go. In the beginning, right? At that time, whatever. This word God is translated Elohim in its original Hebrew context. Elohim is then translated into powerful ones, that is plural. The earth was unformed and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God hovered. Now, this is if you want me to read from King James, I can. But this is a complete Jewish Bible translation, because the Bible original translation was written in Hebrew in the Old Testament, in Jewish in the New Testament. And so you have to know the meanings of the words in order to get the correct translation. Or if not, you'll be reading the Bible from a Western civilization standpoint, and you won't get the meaning of the context, the true meaning. And so, and then God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and divided. Divided means separation, right? Myron Golden says number 2 for him represents the number of separation. But I beg to differ when reading Genesis 1. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So there was evening and there was morning, right? Let me switch to King James. King James. Most people are familiar with the King James. And so in the beginning, Elohim, God created. Please research Elohim, look that word up. And the earth was without form and void. The darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God moved to the face of the waters. And God said, Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. And Elohim saw the light was good. And God divided, that means 2 in 1, right? To divide means to separate 2, the light from darkness. And God called the light day and the darkness night. And that was the first day. That was the first day, the day that had division in it. The 2 in 1 was the light and the darkness, right? So again, Myron Goldman, number 1 represents to him unity, and number 2 represents separation. But in my reading and research and understanding and decoding of it, number 1 means a status of supremacy, self-sufficiency, to be self-sufficient, right? It is different. That's why a unicorn is called a unicorn, right? Because it is one horn on this unicorn. So unity represents the state of being united or joined as a whole, right? unity. If you are a part of a whole thing, you are unified within a team, right? If you are a part of a sports team, you will wear the same uniform, right? That's the word unite in it, so that you can be united with the team. So the number is used specifically to identify the status, supremacy, self sufficiency. So the number one, the first day, reveals that there were two components, the light and the darkness, that had to be divided, right? That's why in sports, everyone goes for the number one spot, right? That's why in the first commandment of the Ten Commandments, Exodus 20:3 says to worship no God but me. Number one symbolizes the need for the number one God in our lives. Number one serves as a symbol, as unity and strength. So Myron Goldman said that yes, number one, it can serve as a symbol of unity and strength, but it does not. It also means to divide and to separate and to set apart. See, in sports, when you are number one, you are set apart from two and three and everyone else. You are supremacy. You are self sufficient. The number one, the only number that's is equivalent in nature to a giraffe, right? In which it stands upright. It can stand upright. It can stand alone. It can stand solo. So number one to me does not represent unity. The first day, two things were separated, right? So it represents separation. Myron Goldman thinks that's number two. I believe it's number one. Now, Myron Goldman has way more followers than I do, so he probably wouldn't even care that I'm saying this. In fact, he encourages people if they have a difference of opinion or insight, rather, right? So the number one, a special significance in the Bible, a very special significance. I think again Genesis breaks down all of this. And God said, "Let there be firmament in the midst of the waters." Genesis 1:6, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So we got division going on again. We got one whole but divided, right? You can be the number one person, but yet a part of a whole of a team. But it still brings in the separation, right? And so then God brought in the firmament in the waters that was under the firmament and the waters that are above the firmament. And it was so. And God called one firmament heaven, and the evening, where we get the name Eve. In Jewish calendar, Eve is starts the day. It's just the opposite of what many have been taught um, in the world, right? They've been taught that daylight starts the day and that the night ends the day. But that's not how it's biblically done. And so knowing your times and seasons and transitions is important, especially during this time when we're having a wealth transfer from cash to crypto. So the evening, which Eve, right? And the morning was the second day. This is the number two. There was the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place, one. And let the dry land appear." And it was so, right? So the number two is unity. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called the seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, and every herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his own kind, whose seed was in itself, whose seed was is in itself, right, upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, um, herb yielding seed after its own kind, the tree yielding fruit. And God saw that was good. So this is the third day. The number three is the number of reproduction. Reproduction, yielding fruit after its own kind. in itself, and it was so. It brought forth grass. The third day, reproduction. Just like a man and woman combines together to reproduce a child. The trinity of reproduction, the combination of masculine and feminine energy to produce a third party, right? And so let's go to the first day. It was so. The second day, the evening morning was the second day. The number 2 is unity. The first day, God separated the light from darkness to stand alone. And then the second day, he made them now unify and work together to conform a complete cycle of a day. So again, Myron Goldman says 1 is unity. I say 2 is unity. And he says that 2 is separation. I believe that 1 is separation because God separated the light from darkness. Third day, reproduction, right? When you look at the reproduction in the Trinity, you have to ask yourself this question. Why is it phrased that as Mother Earth and Father Time? Right? Elohim, in the beginning, Elohim. Elo is the feminine aspect. Him is the masculine. Now, if you don't believe and the Bible says, more than one unification, then go to Genesis 11, where it talks about the gods. It's plural. I can show you that. After people were building the Tower of Babel, it said the gods came down and mixed their language because they saw that the people were reaching for another frequency, a higher frequency, right? And the gods didn't think that that was good. And so now, the third day, the number 3, and God made, go into Genesis 1 and 16, and God made 2 great lights. This is after Genesis 1 and 1, where he separated the lesser light to rule the day. And no, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser night to rule the night. So God's come in, Elohim come in and make 2 great lights, even after he already made lights. So by the 4th day, Myron Goldman and I agree on this, there were 4 things in created. It was light, it was land, it was liquid, the waters, and it was life-bearing fruit. The herbs and seeds was able to be vegetation and to be food for man that was not created to the 6th day. So 4 is the number of the earth realm. It is the north, east, west, and south where we get the word news. It is the 4 corners of the earth, as Myron Goldman states. 4 levels of values, right? 4 seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. So the number 4, the rule up to the Genesis 1 and 17 to give up 2 lights. In the evening and the morning was the 4th day. The evening and the morning, the 2 greater lights to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. And he also made the stars. So Genesis 1:16 shows that God made a trinity, the sun, the moon, and the stars, right? To give the light on earth. So I probably won't break this down. So you really have to ask yourself, what was the light in Genesis 1 and 5 that God said this light is good? And he divided the light from darkness. Now I want you to know this. In Genesis 1 and 2, it says the earth was without void and darkness was upon the face of the deep. It never states in Genesis chapter 1 that darkness was good. It just said, and Elohim, Genesis 1 and 4, saw the light, and it was good, and God divided it from darkness. But at the same time, simultaneously, God allowed darkness to dwell with the light that was good. And the evening and the morning was the first day. So they were separated to now be unified together again. So there is some unity in number one, right? If you're playing sports, even though you might be the number one person, for example, in a track team with a relay race with three other people, including yourself, right? The team as a whole, even though you might have the best time as a sprinter in that event, you're the number one as far as your time, but the team as a whole wins the race, right? And so with that being said, Genesis 1 and 16, the two greater lights, he saw that it was good. This was the number 4, again, the number of earth. And God said, let the waters, Genesis 1 and 20, bring forth abundance, 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 abundance. Why water? Because water has a sense of energy, peace, frequency, and vibration. If you want peace, go to a beach. If you want peace, listen to the sounds and the vibration of waters, right? Abundant. Let the waters bring forth abundance. The Bible is about abundance. It's about prosperity. So if you're reading it and you're not prosperous, I would ask you, why not? Because you're reading it, most people read it from a very mystical perspective. Oh, that was a miracle, right? It was miraculous. No, it's a principle in this to be learned and applied in your everyday life. So the waters brought forth abundance, moving creature that had life, the fowl that may fly above the earth, and then open the firmament of the earth. And then God created great whales, every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, right? After their own kind. Every winged fowl after its own kind. It says, God said, this is good. And so God blessed them. Now, if God blesses animals by saying to be fruitful and multiply, then what more do he want man to do? Humans. He wants you to be fruitful and multiply. That includes your money as well. Your money should be multiplied. You should have your money in some type of source of stream that multiplies it. I introduce people to concepts that multiply money 24/7, 365 days out of the year. You need to contact me to purchase a license. Text CC to the number on the screen, 331-555-5556. So the number 5 is Myron Goldman breakdown. 5 fingers on each hand, 1 to give, 1 to receive. It represents the number of grace, but it also represents the number of multiplication. Let the fowl multiply the earth. It is also the number of balance. 5 is the number of balance, right? Because on the 5th day, the animals that flew above the earth opened up the firmament, and then he created the animals that every living creature that moves in the water. So this is the as above, so below concept. The 5th principle, a principle of balance, meaning that if I said this in simple terms, don't be so heavily minded that you're no earthly good. This would apply. I did a live stream earlier on these numbers, and someone broke down the numbers of Elon Musk, and on the 4th day and 444, and I said, okay, now tell me what that means in layman's terms. They couldn't say it in basic terminology. Like, don't come to me so deep that we can't have an earthly conversation, and don't come to me so deep about things like straw man, for example, and you don't even know the steps to become a straw man. In fact, you don't even know anyone that is a straw man. You just research, you're so spiritually minded, but you don't know how to apply the principles in your life to be effective. So in my opinion, knowing these numbers, knowing what they mean, and without taking action, and without being able to explain the very detailed, explicit things in a simple way, right, does not make you able to apply principles. So the number 5, giving and receiving, 5 fingers on each hand, the number of grace, but also represents balance. So the evening and the morning was the fifth day, right? It represents things that were high above and that were in the waters moving below. Balance. So, and God said, Genesis 1 and 24, let the earth bring forth living creatures after its kind, the cattle, again, reproducing after your own kind. Your money should be reproducing more money. If you're a human, you should be reproducing more children. And it says, like its kind, the cattle, the creeping thing, the beasts of the earth of its kind. Now, notice that in Genesis 1 and 24, the beast of the earth is mentioned, right? And God made the beasts of the earth after his own kind and everything that creepeth. And God saw that it was good. Now, mind you, up to this point, until the number 6, everything that God said and God saw and Elohim saw was good. And this is a very powerful scripture that many don't understand at all. Genesis 1 and 26, right? Genesis 1 and 26. And Elohim, in its original context, I'm reading from King James, said, let us make man in our. Some people say he's talking to the angels here. Some people say he's talking to the Father. Can't be talking to the Father because that will be two men. And we know later on that female came from the rib of an Adam or Adam, which represents a protector. That's why it's the rib. That's an analogy. It does not mean Adam had a C-section performed on him. And guess what? And after our likeness, and let them have dominion over everything, over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, over the cattle. Listen, and then it goes on to say, you know what, just over all the earth. My question to a lot of people is, why are you trying to get rich when you die? I understand passing on generational wealth, but don't you want to be rich and wealthy while you're living as well? Don't you want to speed up your wealth date? You know, in the tortoise and the hare, slow and easy does it. You want to be the hare when it comes to your finances. Getting rich quick does not always relate to a scam. It relates to a strategy. And it says, over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim, Elo, feminine, him, H-I-M, masculine, created man in his own image. So that's why Adam is mentioned first. Because it says his image, not their image. His image, the image of God created he, him. And then it says male and female were created simultaneously. They were created together. Genesis 1:27. It's only that the woman, also we go back to Eve, and evening was hidden at the time. This is where we get Eve and evening. Eve was hidden at the time. In Adam's, that comes from where the word Adam comes from in science, rib cage. And God blessed them, not him, them. And Elohim said to them, that includes male and female alike, you and I, that, you know what, you bless people by saying, number one. Most people think blessing is only done by giving. No, you can speak a blessing over someone. You can speak instructions over someone. And it says, subdue the earth, have dominion over everything. That's why the Bible states that the earth, the Lord, he has given unto mankind, but the highest heavens belong to the Lord. So many people only focus on dying to go to heaven, when you should also be focusing on dominating while you're here on earth. in living the best of your highest level in your health and in your wealth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, every tree, and which it is the fruit of a yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. So God, Elohim said, the fruit to you shall serve for meat. And to every beast of the earth, every fowl of the air, to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there liveth, I have given green herb also for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything, Elohim saw everything that was made or had been made, Elohim, and behold, it was very good. And guess what? The eve, which is always mentioned first, Ning, and the morning was the sixth day. And then we go on to see that the sixth day, God said it was very good. The sixth day. All of the days, God just says good, but there are some people who actually say that the six is the number of the beast. So you might ask yourself, why? Why do they say 666 rather than in Revelation that connects it to the mark of the beast? It just means that you have a spiritual person inside of you. That's like I said, the number one is the number of separation, and two is the number of unity. You have dual personalities inside of you, right? Genesis 1 shows us that light and darkness dwell together, and God separated them. Your pineal gland is that light, is that spiritual part of your brain, it's the part of your forehead that also forms the triangle. You have two eyes so that you can have sight in the physical, but your pineal gland is your spiritual eye, right? It relates to some people have sight, but they don't have vision. Your pineal gland, part of your brain, this is your visionary, your creative mind, your spiritual mind, the part that knows how to apply Joshua chapter 1 to meditate day and night. The only time meditation is mentioned in the Bible is with the word success, and success is only mentioned in the Bible in Joshua in that chapter, in that context. Meditation, the power of meditation. And then you have your pituitary gland, which is also called your reptilian part of your brain. This is the beast on the sixth day that God created man and beast together, showing you that you are one, you are separate, but equal. Showing the light in the day in Genesis 1. And then the beast showing that you both have the decision to do the spiritual part or to react on your spiritual being, or you can listen to that beast mode that most people refer to that's within you, the reptilian part, the pituitary gland. So the number one, again, is a symbolism that appears as superior and self-sufficient. And Colossians in the New Testament, Jesus Christ refers to himself as the Alpha, the first character of the Greek alphabet. This is why learning Hebrew and Greek is so important. And he also called himself the firstborn of the creature, right? So with that being said, you have to ask yourself, now Myron Golden brought out the number 8, and he brought out the number 8 is the number of abundance. I agree. 8 is the upright infinity sign. Infinity sign is sideways. 8 is the number of abundance. It's a number of everflow. But 8 also represents two energies intertwining in one. The Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the light and the darkness, the good and the evil. For example, have you ever asked yourself, how was the serpent able to be admitted into the Garden of Eden, to even be able to talk to Eve? Why was the serpent even allowed there? Why was darkness allowed to dwell with light? Why was evil allowed to be in the Garden of Eden, the serpent amongst the good? Why do you have, as the Apostle Paul said, every time I go to do good, evil is pressing? It doesn't, good and evil is not meant to dwell apart. It makes you a more spiritual sound person when you can listen and tap into your higher being, your inner God. And some people call it intuition, as well as your external God. You don't supposed to separate, right? As Psalms say, haven't I told you it is written in the law? I think it's Psalms 84 and 6. Let me Google it, make sure that ye are gods. That's the Lord you. Not Psalms with an S, but Psalm 84 and 6. I have to be careful not to put that S on Psalm, but Psalm 84 and 6. Is that all right? No, that's not right. Let me get the right Psalm. But haven't I told you it is written in the law that ye are gods? So you're supposed to walk in your dominion in this earth realm. Psalm 82 and 6, right? And even 1 John 4 and 4, again, 4 is the number of the earth realm, states that greater is he that is in you, than he that is in this world. God allows the evilness to dwell in this world for a reason. Even John 10 and 36 goes back to ye are gods. But most people don't know how to tap into the internal to produce for the external. They've only been taught to focus on the external things. They haven't taught to meditate from the inside out. For example, they've only been taught to pray and look for external resources. But and I've heard a great mentor say this, if you don't learn how to go within, right, you're going to have to learn how to live without. If you don't know how to go within, you're going to have to learn how to live without. So number one is a symbolism, not number 8. Myron Goldman said this for number 8 of new beginnings. I don't think 8 represents new beginning. Genesis 1 and 1 says Elohim, in the beginning. So number 1 could be the beginning, a fresh start, right? Meaning this currency system is going to be a fresh start. There are some people who resist change. They're fearful that a certain phase of their life is coming to an end, but you should not be too worried because these changes will open new doors for you. Positive changes will contribute to betterment of your lives. Position yourself right now for this wealth transfer can position you for a lifetime wealth as well. Because for most people, this is going to be the biggest transfer that this generation ever experienced. If you miss this wave, it will not come around again for many people in your lifetime. For a lot of people. Also, the Hebrew letters and Hebrew words that connects to number. Number 1 translates to wonderful. The first day of creation is called one day. And unfortunately, a lot of people use that terminology. One day I'm going to do it. One day I'm going to join. One day I'm going to text CC. One day. And that one day offers for you delayed. A delayed day. Procrastination robs you of opportunity. So, number 1, ask you to alter your way of thinking. Get rid of negative energy around you because it's a part of where we live. Negative energy will always be around you, but you have to get rid of it and make way for positive energy. Cut off ties with critics and people that offer low value to your life. People that do nothing but drain you physically, mentally, and emotionally. Surround yourself. Listen, if you cannot change your circle, then change your circle. That means to meet new people, make new friends. I think that's all I want to say right now. I'm going to also show you a perpetual income stream. I talked about number 4 is the number of the earth realm. A perpetual income opportunity through cash flow of cryptocurrency that will produce for you lifelong wealth of a passive income stream. In 2 Kings chapter 4, this is the strategy that Elijah gave to the widow woman whose husband had died, and she had 2 sons. Right? Number 2 is the number of division, to divide. And her 2 sons, right, were about to be removed from her and sold into what's called a slavery system, which means to work for someone else. Closely related to this day, that can mean working a job. So Elijah gave her a strategy. He said, number 1, go borrow vessels from your neighbors, right? You don't have enough. She said, he first asked her, how can I help you? And she said, listen, I just have this in my household. He said, okay, so for the strategy I'm about to give you, that's not enough. We need to level you up. Let's level your money up. Let's multiply what you have. So go and borrow. That means she leveraged her credit. She borrowed. She borrowed. In the beginning of 2 Kings 4, it talks about that she borrowed, or her husband and her during his lifetime, they borrowed debt and they used it in a very negative way because they owed interest to other people. They owed other people money behind that debt. Elijah said, let me flip the script for you and let me show you how to make money work for you by leveraging debt, but we're going to use it in a different way, in a different mentality, in a different mindset. I heard someone do a live stream tonight and said, I own no credit cards. Like, why would you do that? Even Myron Goldman's video in its entirety to Fasttrack Millionaire talks about the power of leveraging credit cards. And he specifically says he used his Amex credit card, and he's a deca millionaire, a multi-millionaire. And millionaires use this strategy all day, every day to accumulate points or rewards back. They just use it as they would their debit card, and they pay it off full and every month. So they have the cash to use it, but they leverage their credit because now they get a bit additional benefits and they get passive income stream. It's like writing a check to yourself. So you need to change your education about finances, change your mentality and strategy when it comes to leveraging or using your credit or debt. So Elijah said, look, first we got to change your mindset, right? Let's change your strategy. You was using debt the wrong way. You was using debt to owe other people and pay them interest. Let me show you how to use debt to open up your own home-based business. And then let me show you how to have your children to work for you in a home-based business. Did you know if your children work for you in a home-based business, that that's up to $12,000 that you can receive back from the government at the end of the year as a tax write-off? All you have to do is hire your children to work for you in a home-based business. And did you know, unlike a LLC, a S Corp, or a C Corp, that a home-based business gives you over 470 tax deductions? And did you know that a home-based business will also, or it also have tax write-off, like things you use every day anyway, such as your cell phone, the square footage in wherever you live, apartment, townhouse, or condo, a house, does not matter. It's resident. You can use that resident and you can earn up to $400 passively that'll come back to you at the end of the year for square footage that's a tax write-off in your home-based business, because it's used now as your office space. Like where I live stream from you in my home, this room, it's a write-off for me. It's rent that comes back to me because it is my office space for my home-based business. And then Elijah said, okay, now I want you to take these strategies and I want you to have a system where you get a perpetual cash flow that every time, and first of all, he gave her a commodity. He gave her oil. Oil is a commodity. That's why I tell you all about investing in cryptocurrencies that's linked to real world commodities, such as oil, crude oil, natural gas, right? Such as digital gold. That's why I have text CC at the bottom of the screen. All of these are commodities. We're combining old money and new money simultaneously together. So he provided to her a strategy, right, that whenever she pulled out of her income producing asset, rich and wealthy people have income producing assets. Whenever she poured that commodity out, more commodities on a daily basis would be replaced and replenished it to where she never lost. And then he told her to go sell it to cash out, make capital gains on it, and to pay off her bad debt. See, this is how you get out of debt. The Bible never suggests that your first strategy to financial freedom should be to pay off debt first. No, it says to increase your income and then increase your income producing assets. These are my cryptocurrencies portfolio that are connected to the Bible. Saturday, I had $9,000, right? I put this on my reels on Facebook. Today is Monday. I'm up $1,405 just from investing in this digital software. That brings me a continual flow of crypto passive income. The total daily mining, $133 what I made for the day. The top number is my total capital amount. The bottom number is my daily crypto passive income amount. And so if you look here, I got other, wait a minute, I gotta find my other reels. I like this one though. Do not allow my confidence to offend your insecurity. Because I'm confident. I look like I look because he's confident. I walk the way I walk because I'm confident. I like that one. But let me show you my other reels so that I can show you the proof. How do I go on reels on here? Let me see if I can go to my reels. Oh, here we go. A little different. I can show you the proof and the progress over the last couple of days. So, if you want to get perpetual, this is 10,000. Let me read that. This was screenshot at 6:54 today. This was yesterday. Screenshot at 7:25, 10,305. Again, this is a great reel that I uploaded. Past performance. I'm not a financial advisor giving you financial advice. I'm just showing you my results from taking action in these crypto backed by commodities. This was Saturday at 11:24 a.m. It was at 10,010. That's my number. I see the 1 in that. This was Saturday at 6:32 a.m. Started out at $9,004, right? In addition to getting capital gains and daily cash flow every day, right? Let me like my own reels. This was, I think, sometime last week. I don't know the exact date. It was at 8,925. This was at 9:39, I think, p.m. You can see my daily pay that day was $153 because it moves with whatever the interest. My daily pay can fluctuate, right? It moves with whatever interest. This is black gold. This is crude oil. This is XPLR. I know it sounds like XRP, but it's not. It's the satellite technology that you all know, for example, that every commodity in the earth realm has a different vibration and frequency. So this satellite technology, it scans the earth realm in connection and collaboration with Google Earth to find these commodities. And then people, you don't receive profits. Now, I know Jim Rohn said profit is better than wages, but in 2023, I'm going to upgrade that, right? And tell you that royalties are better than profits. You get royalties, so you don't receive profits. You do receive this passively, but the royalties come because these cryptos connected to commodities receive royalties. And this is what we call burns. If you know what burning crypto tokens means, burning means that you take a certain amount out of the supply. And when this causes a supply and demand reaction, which means the less of supply and the more of demand that the crypto is worth, it drives the prices up. So these are called burns. So when you get this digital software, you receive not only passive income, not only residual income, and we're also teaching institutional trading right now. You can trade money if you want that instant gratification, so you can have the money on a continuous basis to continue to get these and purchase these digital softwares. You receive rewards every day, people, by purchasing the software to process transaction. This is what this DET stands for. It's decentralized, eco-friendly blockchain technology. They're looking for people to validate the transactions. And so when you purchase the software that does the mining, you process these transactions and you receive rewards every day. Every day. Versus getting paid bi-weekly, versus getting paid monthly, versus getting paid weekly. What about getting paid in real time every day? So you don't receive profits, you receive royalties. You know the thing about royalties? For example, Rihanna just performed at the NFL halftime show. She sold what's called NFTs, non-fungible tokens, for her song, "B Better Have My Money." Everyone that purchased that song, every time, or purchase those NFTs, every time that song is played, they receive a royalty. They don't have to do any of the work. Without doing any of the work, they just took action. So these are the amount of tokens that were burned for each project, 9.3 million, taken out of circulation, never to be returned again, making it a high value commodity asset. This is for XPLR. This is for DET token. This DBT token, it acts like Ethereum and Binance, BNB. It's a utility token, meaning that this DET token has all of the commodities of this project backing it. Everything from black gold, from natural gas, to gold, physical, yellow gold, to the technology that they've created to find these commodities in the earth realm in a very efficient way that's very eco-friendly, meaning without mining or digging up the ground and finding nothing, or finding no oil in the spot that you thought it was oil in, and now you've destroyed that land or that property or the earth. So that's what eco-friendly means. So we have a beverage company, right? Water is a commodity. They burn, aluminum as well. Aluminum is a $5 billion industry. That's moving to a $10 billion industry. They were also burned. In fact, a ton of aluminum is over $2,000. So royalties came from these real world commodities, and these the profits are used to buy the tokens and destroy them, and to decrease the supply to increase the price. You got the tokens right here. That's natural gas, $5.5 million worth was burned in February on today, and crude oil. So these are real world projects real world commodities. It's converting the crypto world, new money technology with old money, which is God's money, which was not going anywhere. As Robert Kiyosaki said, gold and silver was here before the cockroaches, and they will be here when we and the cockroaches are long gone. Because as Myron Goldman said at the beginning, gold never corrodes like copper and brass. Silver never corrodes. You touch crude oil, even when we go to EV vehicles, if you touch a plastic bag to make groceries, that's made out of oil. When you shop at the grocery store for your vegetables and fruits, that comes from oil because oil is made to make fertilizer. A lot of people didn't know that. They think just oil goes in their vehicles. In fact, EV vehicles will still use oil. That won't go away. Oil is not going anywhere. Natural gas is not going anywhere, even with electronic vehicles. Silver and gold is not going anywhere. But this is going away. Cash, paper money, fake money, monopoly money. In fact, if you go to a professional sports venue, they don't even accept cash. They just want credit cards. That's why when I heard the person on live stream today say, I don't own any credit cards, I'm like, how do you go to the NBA game? Because I see them at the NBA game. Maybe they just use a debit card. I don't know. Thank you, Patrice, for the 1111. You know, Patrice, when I go to the Atlanta House game, in fact, when I use my Chase credit cards, I get more perks and more rewards. So that person who's a high figure, six-figure income earner, I'm like, why wouldn't you want to leverage credit card? Even Myron Goldman, who is, again, multi-millionaire, said he loves his American Express cards. I love my credit card as well. I love them because I get passive income. So, Patrice, just like Elohim in the beginning said and saw, I always speak. No matter if you all get tired of hearing it, I always speak Deuteronomy 1:11 over everyone that I always give in the frequency of 11:11. That may the God of our ancestors, right? The God of our ancestors, right? Increase you 1,000 times more. And it just didn't stop there, right? It says, and bless you. So it lets you know that increasing financially is one thing, but the blessing in other areas is another as well. So that means blessing in all other areas of your life. That's from your health, not only your wealth, but even in your favor, open doors, open opportunities. I'm logging off. I've been on here as longer than I anticipated, but I had to get that out because that was just in my spirit, on my mind, about understanding that Genesis 1:1 is not a creation story. In fact, the book of Genesis is all about abundance. Even Genesis, I think 2:16 says that Abraham was very rich. And so that people won't misconfigure that. No, that was about the tree of the garden. I don't know why my numbers are off. Let me find it. I can get into the tree of the garden. I'm not going to do that tonight. I ask people, why do people, although it said Eve ate of fruit, why do people often relate to that fruit as apple? Because you need to research the benefits, the health benefits of eating an apple a day. Eating apples not only is a great fiber, a great source of fiber, but apple does so much that it protects your brain from damage caused by oxidative stress. Did you all know that? That's the power of the apple. And even when let me show this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm pivoting. 639 viewer. Thank you, Isaiah. I'm pivoting a little bit. I'm not going to stay on this long because some people are not ready for this. But when you split an apple, that's like the two ovaries and the split. It looks just like a vagina. Right? I mean, really. So the way the apple is taught Is it really? Was that really a transaction that was? Mm, okay. How do I want to say this? All right, let me say it this way. The eight impressive. Let's go down to number eight. I talked about eight, the number of abundance, right? Apples lower your risk for cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Apples also can help you with weight loss because of the fiber, and improves your gut and brain health. Your brain health, again, the antioxidant benefits, and you know, so many benefits. So it's a reason why the apple looks like a vagina and people relate this to Eve. Again, high in fiber and water. It's a reason why this looks like a vagina. It's a reason why. I'm not gonna go into that. I'm not gonna go into that tonight. But Genesis 13:2. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, in silver and gold, also in land. So it specified what he was rich in. So the very religious people would say, oh, he was spiritually rich. No, 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 no. He was rich in commodities. Just like the 2 Kings chapter 4 woman had oil. Every prosperity connection in the Bible has a commodity. And this is why I teach about these commodities, backed cryptocurrencies. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Queen Patrice. I'm signing out. You all have a great night. If you're watching this on a replay, hit the thumbs up. Show some love so more people can get notification of the algorithm and watch this video as well. I'm signing out at the 111 point. Queen out.